Good morning, everybody. This is a Pilates class. We're going to take you through, or I'm going to take you through a beginners to intermediate series. We'll need some toning balls if you have them at home, or some light hand weights, a mat, and if you have a towel, you could also incorporate this into the repertoire. Just want to make sure that you can see me. Adjusting my camera here. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and get started with our breathing. I want you to think about placing your hands just on your rib cage, breathing wide into the rib cage, bring your shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale wide. And exhale, feeling the fingertips drawing in. Feel the rib cage drawing in. Inhale wide into the rib cage. Expanding the rib cage. Exhale fully. Inhale. Lengthening up through the crown as you're doing this, and exhale. Now thinking about lengthening the spine up that imaginary wall here. I want you to think about here, nodding the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. Using the exhale to scoop the navel, coming up and over that imaginary picket fence, relaxing the neck and shoulder here. Inhale, exhale to lengthen back up that imaginary wall, dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. Again, inhale to nod, exhale to come up and over that imaginary picket fence. Drawing that navel up and under, lengthening back up. Coming into a supine position. If you have that towel, it's a nice way of releasing any neck tension that maybe occurs when you're in this position. So just placing that towel just underneath your head. Finding your supine position here. I want you to think about finding that flat, square position of your hips to the ceiling. This is your most shock absorbing position for your pelvis. From here, I want you to think about drawing the navel in and lowering the spine, and then coming back to that neutral position. So it's the lumbar spine, the lower spine that comes down. You're not jamming the spine down, but it's just a little bit of an imprinted position, and then coming back to neutral, keeping the belly nice and flat and engaged, drawing the navel up and under. Last one, in that imprinted position, we're going to keep this position and then come right into our leg slides. So we're going to inhale, reaching one leg out, exhale to come back. So as you're reaching out, make sure you're not arching the spine, using the core as you inhale, lengthen, really wrapping those leg muscles, keeping the shoulders drawn back towards the spine. One more on each side. And then we're going to add another layer to this exercise. This time I want you to bring your arms up and over the head without allowing the rib cage to lift. So thinking about your rib cage placement. And as you're doing this, slide one leg out. And then use the exhale to lower the arms down. Inhale to lengthen and stretch those muscles. Exhale to come down. So we're just warming up and reviewing the principles of the practice. We'll go ahead and do one more set here, keeping the core nice and engaged, keeping that square position of the pelvis to the ceiling. And then we're going to add to this. This time, we're going to slide that leg out. And then if you want a little bit more, hinging the leg at the hip, and then even coming into that upper flexion of the spine. Bringing that leg down, inhale nice and controlled. Exhale, using the core, gliding the ribcage towards the pelvis. The eye gaze comes towards the quads. The head, neck, and shoulders could be down on the mat. One more on each side. Leveling the pelvis, nice and strong with that leg, nice and strong with the arms, nice and strong with the core. Now we're going to add to this. Both legs are going to stretch nice and long without lifting the ribs. Arms come to the side as you bring the legs in and then reaching the legs long. You can keep the legs on the floor if this is too much. Engaging the core as you reach and nice and strong with the legs. We'll do that again. Inhale to lengthen here. Exhale to come up. Let's do two more. Really incorporating that breath. Inhale to reach. Use that exhale. Scoop the navel and reach nice and long. Last one. Inhale to reach. Nice and long, lengthening those muscles. Using the core, using the strength of the legs and the arms. Reach, hold here. Coming to tabletop legs, let's go into our toe taps. You could rest your head down if this is too much to come into that upper flexion of the spine. For 3, 2, and 1. Legs can stay at tabletop, or we can bring both feet down. If you're coming to tabletop legs, you're imprinting the spine here. We're going to go right into our ab prep. Bring your hands just under the skull. Bring your head, neck, and shoulders down. Inhale to nod, exhale to come up and hold. And slowly come down. Inhale to nod, exhale. Try to level your shins to the ceiling. Use that exhale to come up and then come down. Use that exhale to engage the core, gliding the ribcage towards the pelvis. And then we're going to hold here. Bring the arms long. Bring one foot down at a time in little pulses for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And then coming down. 2 more sets of 5. Inhale to nod. Exhale for 5. Use that core. Flatten the belly here. Glide the ribcage towards the pelvis. 1. And coming down. Last one here. Inhale to nod. Exhale to come up for 5, 4. Use that breath. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Slowly come down and allow the head to rotate side to side. Coming onto your belly in a prone position. Finding those toning balls or hand weights if you have them at home. Bring your hands just to the width of the mat. Hands are on top of the toning balls if you have them, or on the mat here. Retract the shoulder blades. Glide the shoulders down away from the ears. Reach the sternum away from the toes. And then exhale as you come down. We'll do that again. Inhale, exhale, in, lift. Really reach, wrap those leg muscles, just coming to that lower rib. Exhale, reach the toes away from the sternum as you come down. Retract, lift that navel off that imaginary ice cube. Reach the sternum away from the toes. Get the glutes working here. Then slowly come down. Bring the arms just above the head. You might need to scoot back a little bit for the length of your mat rather. Scooping the navel. Use that exhale, draw the shoulder blades down, using those lats, using those postural muscles. Reach a little bit longer, lengthen those muscles. Inhale here, exhale, in, lift. Inhale to reach a little bit longer with your body. Use that exhale, draw the shoulder blades down. So feel those postural muscles working. Open up through the collarbones. So often we're in that forward flexion through the day. This is a nice way of developing those extensor muscles, opening up the front of the body. Last one, strengthening this nice long lean muscles. So I want you to think about coming into your goalpost arms here, retract the shoulder blades and come up, extend the spine again, and then exhale to lengthen down. This time we're thinking about taking one toning ball here, bringing it just underneath the forehead. Inhale here, exhale to come up, working those upward and back muscles. I want you to think about bringing one elbow towards the waist, and then coming back, and then coming to the other side, but keeping that alignment in the body. Keep reaching through the crown, and then think about lengthening down. Inhale here, exhale, come up. Using that nice lengthened position. Nice strength through the core. Anchor the legs, one more set here. Eye gaze is towards the mat. Now we're going to add another layer. Inhale here, exhale, come up. Extending that arm to the side, keeping that length through the body. So keeping the shoulder blades on the rib cage and lengthening down. Inhale here, exhale to come up and reach nice and long. Keep lengthening through the crown, through the toes. If this is too much with the weight, you're going to come up and just use the natural resistance of your body. And then we're going to go ahead and lengthen back down. Toning balls or weights can come with you, bringing the arms long to the length of your torso, your body. Retract the shoulder blades and lengthen up. Reach through the crown if you want to. You can bring the legs up here. And then lengthen down. Inhale, retract. Exhale, scoop that navel in, reach. Now, if you want to add that next layer, the arms reach out to the side with the legs. Zip through and lengthen down. Nice and controlled. Retract the shoulder blades. Keep lengthening through the crown. Nice and strong with the arms and legs. One more here. Inhale and exhale. And lengthen all the way down. Come back into your shell. So it's a lot like child's pose in yoga, but you're lifting the navel, really encouraging the spine to release. Release the neck as well as part of your spine. And then we're going to come up and we're going to turn over here and prepare for the 100. So when you're ready, find your optimal starting position for the 100. If the feet are on the floor, this is going to be your more basic starting position. In front, bring one leg up to tabletop and then the other, or reach long with the legs. When you're ready, if you're reaching long with the legs, really engaging the core in all positions. But even more so when your legs are lifted, it's important that you're still thinking about keeping that flat abdominal wall here. We're gonna press the air down, little movement here, but I want you to think about stabilizing the rest of the body, keeping the chin off the chest, eye gazes forward. If you want a little bit more, again, you're going to lower that legs. If this is too much to stabilize, you're going to bring your feet back in that closed kinetic chain. Nice and strong with the legs, and if you're reaching them, you're reaching towards that target. Fingertips are reaching away, and then you're thinking about also lengthening those muscles, engaging the core, stabilizing the pelvis and the upper back, nice and strong. Keep breathing, inhaling wide into the rib cage, expanding that rib cage. Exhale, feel the core muscles working. If you don't, you can try bringing the chest towards the quads a little bit more. I think we're at 100 here. We're gonna draw the knees towards the chest and then reach out towards the stars. This is another layer I'd like to add. If this is too much, you can bring your knees to your chest in that modified shell. Bringing the legs towards you, hinging from the crease of the hip, and then lowering here. Inhale, exhale, use the core, encourage the core to work here to stabilize this weighted load. Last one. And then you're ready to think about reaching the legs long, arms come long by the ears, pushing the air out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Bring the knees into flexion, lower down, hold just behind the legs, and then rock side to side, giving yourself a nice spinal massage. Bringing one foot down at a time, reaching your legs long, lengthening those abdominal muscles. Now try to bring the rib cage down and exhale. Float the arms forward, peeling the spine off, reaching up and over, getting that nice stretch to the spine, lengthening up the ears away from the shoulders. We're going to come into our half roll back here. So when you're ready, you're going to bring your knees into flexion. Find your Tony balls or your light hand weights. Draw the shoulders down. Inhale here. Exhale, come back. Let's add our bicep curls. Flip the weights over. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Core engaged. For 5, 4. So in that C curve position. And 1. And reaching up and over here. Inhale here. Exhale, come back. Right down the center of that balance beam. And we'll add those bicep curls for 5. Nice and strong here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last set, trying to keep that neutral wrist. If this is too much, you could come here and then come back without adding the bicep curl, or maybe just one bicep curl. Okay? And then we're all going to come back, just adding that nice half roll back. 3 more here. For 3, hands could be up. 2, shoulders down away from the ears. And 1. I want you to think about coming up and over with the rib cage and starting to draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears, anchoring the legs. Inhale the arms over the head without lifting the rib cage. Exhale to come into your full roll up, Or you might modify to come halfway up. Otherwise, into that full roll up, articulating the spine one vertebrae at a time as you come down, just like the links of a bike chain coming down one link at a time. Coming up and over, getting a nice stretch. Drawing the shoulders down. Let's do 2 more here. Inhale to nod. Exhale to come up and over and reach. 1 more from here. And then we're going to go into our leg circles. So go ahead and come into your supine position. Both knees could be bent here. One leg could be extended, or both legs could be extended depending on your flexibility. Making sure you have this 90-degree angle. And I want you to think about drawing that leg away from you and then coming back to that starting position. So you're coming across the body and then away. This opposite side is not moving. Rib cage is on the mat. Shoulder blades are wide. And then we're going to reverse this. Again, making sure that the hips aren't rocking side to side. Core is engaged for 3. Releasing that hip joint. Make sure you're not clenching. 2 and 1. Bend through that knee, lengthen that leg out. Other side, you might decide to bend the knee depending on your flexibility. Make sure that the torso isn't moving all around here. You can bring your arms in front of your chest if you're having a hard time stabilizing the upper body. Arms can be here, and then we're reversing this. So you want to do about 8 to 10 in each direction, and stabilizing those hips, not rocking side to side. For 3, 2, 1. Bringing that leg down, inhaling the arms up over the head without lifting the ribs. Exhale, floating the arms up and over, getting a nice stretch of the spine. Lengthening back up. We'll go right into our spine twists. So when you're ready, we're going to think about just coming into our spine twist. I just wanted to see if that was a message about somebody not being able to get on. I hope that you all are able to see this class. I want you to think about lengthening up here, a different way of doing spine twists. You're going to take that one weight, the other one actually can just go to the ground. Hand is light on the shin. We're reaching forward here. We're going to come into that twist, bend the elbow, and then reach as if you're saying stop, and then come back. So you're twisting upwards, reaching away with that opposite foot, and reach. So it's an upward rotation, and then you're twisting through that lower part of the spine. Let's do 2 more here. You should feel this through the obliques, nice and strong through the core, and reach. Other side. So lengthening up on the sit bones, and we're going to go ahead and twist and reach for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's come right into our rolling like a ball. So when you're ready, we're going to come just in back of those sit bones. Bring one foot up off the mat at a time. And then coming just behind the sit bones, allow the spine to come into that flexion. And then reaching the spine long here. Feet could be on the mat here. You could also bring the hand weights into this. You could balance the hand weights on the hand, come into that spinal flexion. The feet could be off the mat for a little bit more of a weighted load. If you want to add a variation, come into that external rotation and then come forward with the hands. So you're opening up through the collarbones, engaging the core. The arms working here, the shoulders working. Last one here. And then we're going to come into our rolling like a ball. So come forward, scooting forward here, making sure you have enough length through the mat and there isn't a prop in the way. So we're going to come into that C curve and then finding your balance on your sit bones. So coming to the widest part of the back. Try to keep the same space between the front of the chest and the front of the legs. Nice way of getting a spinal massage too. That's actually what Joseph Pilates meant this for. 2 more here, nice and strong with the core. And lengthen up, last one. And then we're gonna go right into our single leg stretches. So when you're ready, find your optimal starting position. Remember, you could be down with the head, neck, and shoulders. Otherwise, you're going to come up if you want a little bit more. And then we're going to come right into our single leg stretches. Now the hands can come just outside of that knee. Nice and strong here. So it's an inhale and exhale, reaching towards that target. Inhale, exhale, core is nice and strong. We can speed this up. Inhale, exhale, for 5, 4. If you want to slow it down, you can. This is your workout. Listen to your body. And 1. Hands come behind the head. We continue with the legs, or we bring the feet down for less of a weighted load. Make sure you're imprinting here unless you can stay in neutral. So we're going to come into those obliques. Coming side to side, but keeping the shoulders open, keeping the elbows open. It's the torso that comes up and over, like you're folding over a napkin. Keeping the pelvis nice and square to the ceiling. Let's go for 3 more sets, unless it's one too many. Core is nice and engaged. Last set. And then we come back to tabletop legs. Now you can bring your head, neck, and shoulders down here, or you can stay in this upward thoracic flexion with the flexion of the spine. Inhale to reach that hat off. Reaching towards the stars. Exhale to come back. Inhale to reach nice and long. Exhale. Inhale, maybe lower a little bit if you want a little bit more. And reach, lengthening those muscles, stretching. And reach nice and strong with the core. Make sure you're not doming in the belly. Last one. Then we reach the legs up towards the ceiling for scissors. Hands come on either side of the leg. You're not trying to pull this leg towards the nose though. You're lengthening and lengthening. Inhale here. Exhale, reach, reach. Inhale and exhale, reach, reach. We'll do that again and reach, reach, and reach, reach, and reach, reach. 1, 2 more sets, reach, reach. Make sure you're not pulling on that leg, keeping the shoulders nice and square to the ceiling. Last set. Then we're gonna come right into our bridge, bringing 1 foot down at a time. Inhale here, exhale, come straight up with the pelvis, making your line straight from, nice long line from your shoulders to your knees. Nice and strong with your glutes and your core. And then straight back down. Inhale here, exhale, in, lift, and lower, and lift. 1 more like this, so you can stay in this exercise or stay lifted with the pelvis here. Find your stabilizers as you think about bringing 1 foot off the mat. Maybe just at a hover or extending this leg and reaching, bending through this knee, fall, heel down, and reach nice and square with the ceiling. Nice and strong with the core, and reach. And reach. We'll do 1 more on each side, unless you'd like to add. And then we're gonna come down 1 vertebrae at a time, peeling through. And from here, I want you to think about lengthening the lower part of the spine, bent. So thinking about imprinting the spine here, to find my words. Bring 1 leg up to tabletop and then the other. Cross the ankles. And then this is your modification. And just thinking about lengthening the lower part of the spine, keeping the core engaged. Try to keep the shoulders open. If you want a little bit more, you're going to reach the legs long here. I'm just going to adjust my camera because it looks like you can't see my legs. Hold on. There you go. Okay. I think that's a little bit better. You're going to reach your legs long here, using the core muscles coming up and over. Only if you have that range of motion, that ability to come into that articulation of the spine. Maybe if you have flexibility, tapping behind, keeping the core engaged, rolling through the center of that imaginary balance beam. And then lengthening the legs away here. Inhale here, exhale, using the core. Maybe touching behind. Never coming onto your neck here, making sure you're on the widest part of the back. Coming back to that modification, cross your ankles the other way if you're modifying. Get a nice release of the spine. Add one more, your variation, what's best for your body. Your legs could be slightly apart and abducted. Using the back of the arms and the retractors, coming up and over, maybe topping behind. And slowly coming down. Now when you're ready, we're going to think about coming onto all fours. I want you to think also, if you'd like to my words today. If you'd like to incorporate a toning ball or some added weight, have that nearby. So finding your body alignment square with the mat, we're going to think about reaching one leg up and maybe starting to take the other hand, the opposite arm off the mat. And then from here, I want you to think about reaching that leg long and then bending through. This hand could be on the mat. If this is too much on your wrists, you could be here, okay? And reaching nice and long. Otherwise, you're up here, stabilizing, keeping the spine nice and long. And then from here, I want you to think about, if you want a little bit less stability, more of a challenge, you're going to lower and lift, opposite arm, opposite leg. Trying to keep everything square to the mat. Nice and strong here. If you want to add weight, you can. And then from here, we're going to stabilize as we bring this arm, the opposite arm, underneath the waistline. Bring the leg and the arm away from the body, and then come back towards the midline. So you're drawing the leg away as you bring the arm out to the side. So nice and strong and reaching nice and long. So if I was to do this side so you could see me, I'm coming away with that arm and then coming back. So let's go to the opposite side now and reach. A lot of work here, keeping that core engaged, nice and strong. And then we're gonna go ahead back to the beginning of those exercises. So both hands can be on the mat here, bend through that knee, or you can come here. So now we're going back to the start of what we did on the other side. Nice and strong, squeeze that glute, squeeze that hamstring. You can point and flex here. And then we're gonna go ahead and add that weight if we want to, and lower and lift from your shoulder joint and from your hip joint, making sure that the spine isn't arching. Core is nice and engaged for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and come back onto those heels. And we'll come right into our breaststroke. So coming back down into that nice long prone position. Retracting the shoulder blades, anchoring the legs, coming up into your nice lengthened hover. Inhale to reach. Exhale to come up into your extension. Inhale to reach a little bit longer. Exhale to lift. And reach long. Exhale to lift. For 3. Breathe. 2. Lengthen your body a little bit more. Make yourself taller today. 1 more here. And then we're going to hold here. Hold. And lengthen all the way down. Push back into shell to release the spine. Nice release of the spine. Coming up to a sitting position. We'll go right into saw. So there's a reason for the sequence of these exercises. We want to make sure we're moving in different planes of motion and also lengthening and strengthening the muscles. So getting those counter stretches. We're going to inhale to lengthen here, exhale to twist, and then come up and over and reach to opposite corners of the room. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to come back. So in that twist and reaching up and over. Nice and strong with the core. Twist upwards and exhale and reach. Let's do 2 more sets. Keep those sit bones down. Keep drawing that navel up and under, reaching nice and long and strong with the arms. As you come up that imaginary wall, nice and strong. Let's do 1 more set. Make sure you're not collapsing here, using those core muscles. Last one here, and reach. And then we're gonna come right into our neck pull. So from here, both feet are just parallel. Layering your hands on your forehead. You need to adjust the camera again. It looks like it's not quite seeing. Okay, there we go. See me better. There we go. So I want you to think about inhaling here, exhale, coming into that C curve. Exhale, up and over. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to C curve. Exhale, up and over. Inhale to lengthen. Now, if you want a little bit more, you're going to think about anchoring those legs, coming back into that C curve, and coming all the way down to that full roll back. Inhale here, exhale, coming up and over. Make sure you have the hand towel in the right place. You could hinge back for a little bit more of a challenge until you lose that core connection, and then you're going to see curve as you come down. Inhale here, exhale. This is a lot harder than that full roll up because you're not using your arms to help you come up. You could cross your arms here. This is easier to stabilize the upper part of the body. We'll do 2 more here. So you can hinge back until you lose that core connection and then roll through. Last one. Then we're going to go right into our obliques roll back. So find those railroad tracks, parallel legs. I'm going to face you. Take one of your hand weights or your toning balls, or if you have a ball at home, place it just between the knees. Draw the shoulder blades down, track the feet, come back into that C curve, and we come into that spine twist. Let's stay in this side for 3. So twisting right through the waistline. 2 and 1. Coming back to the center, exhale up and over. Inhale here, exhale, C curve and come back for 3. Nice and strong, twisting right through the waist. And 1. Let's go ahead and alternate now. Using that breath. Coming up and over and reaching. We'll do 2 more sets. Inhale here, exhale, and twist. Using that breath. Squeeze that toning ball, engage the core. Last set here. And 1. All right, we're ready for our side lying work. So we're going to go ahead and add the toning balls here. I want you to find the back of the body with the back of the mat. Some of you might remember doing this in a previous class. I want you to get that nice length all the way from the top of the head through the knees. So you're thinking about lengthening the body with the back of the mat, and then for a little bit more of an added challenge, you're going to come up with the hips, keeping the torso, the length of the waist nice and long. Reach through this opposite foot. And then from here, we're going to come into a bicep curl. So remember, you could be down here at home with the hips and coming into that bicep curl. We're going to also add a lower and lifting of the leg. Okay, a little more choreography. You could point and flex here. Keeping the neck long. Really squeeze that bicep, engage the core, make sure you're not shrugging in this opposite shoulder. Nice and strong through the body. 2 more here for 2 and 1. Then we're going to keep that leg just at hip height. Reach up and over with this nice long arm. Bring the elbow towards the torso and reach nice and strong. Keep reaching through that flexed foot. Reach. Now we're going to add a bend. Bending the knee to the elbow. Keep the neck nice and long and reach. Make sure you're not collapsing here through the waist. Nice and strong. Make sure you're not collapsing the shoulder either, so you're feeling a lot of strength work happening here. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and lower the hips. Lower this arm, coming up into our star. Inhale here, exhale and reach. Nice and strong. And coming down. Inhale here and lift and reach. Keep the neck long. Often we start to look down towards the mat. Keep the eye gaze forward. For 2 and 1. Coming down. And then go ahead and come to the other side. lengthening your body with the back of the mat. So really use the mat as your guide for body alignment. So lengthening your body here, coming up with the hips if you want that challenge. And then from here, coming into that bicep curl as you lower and lift and lower and lift. So really reaching that foot away from the top of the head. Make sure you're not collapsing in the shoulders. Keep the core engaged. 2 more here for 2 and 1. And stay lifted, reaching that arm up and over. Exhale, come down and reach and pull down for 2 more and 1. And then we're gonna go ahead and lengthen and then bringing the knee towards that elbow. But keeping the spine nice and long, keeping the core engaged. You feel those scapula stabilizers working too in the upper body. 2 more for 2 and 1. And then coming into that star, so bending through, bringing the hip down. And then if you can, lifting the hip and reaching into superstar and lower and lift. So really feel the hip area working here, the gluteus medius, the legs, the arms, the upper body, the core. Last one here. And then coming all the way down, coming up into a sitting position. Let's come into our spine stretch forward. So if you have a wall, you could come up against at home. You could do this just finding a wall just behind you, or imagine you have one. Bringing the arms just long in front of you, scooping that navel, coming up and over, getting a nice spine stretch forward. Reach. Exhale to sequentially bring that spine to a nice lengthened position. Hands could be down here. Inhale to nod. Exhale to really think about stretching that spine, releasing the neck and shoulders. And then sequentially coming up 1 vertebrae at a time. Just to get a nice hip release, crossing the legs in front of you here. Bringing the hands in front of you. And then we're going to come up and over, get a nice stretch here, release through the hips. Hold if you'd like to. And then slowly, sequentially coming back up, drawing the shoulder blades down away from the ears. Let's come into our teaser. When you're ready, so you're going to come into that supine position. Bring that towel if you want to, just underneath the head. Feet can be on the floor here for your most stabilized starting position, just like we talked about when we started class, or you're going to imprint and bring the legs up to tabletop. Reach the legs long if you want a little bit more of a challenge. Inhale the arms over the head without allowing the rib cage to lift forward. Use the exhale to sequentially peel the spine off. Draw the shoulder blades down, coming up onto the sit bones. Reach nice and long and strong with the arms and legs. Keep the core engaged. Remember, your feet could be down here. And then sequentially peel the spine down, right down the center of that balance beam. As you reach the arms over, make sure your rib cage isn't lifting. Exhale. Peeling up and reaching nice and strong here. And then if you want to add that lowering and lifting of that weighted lever, you can here. Nice and strong though. Okay, and then we're gonna come up to the highest point and reach. Maybe a little bit more if you bend the knees. And then slowly come down. And nice stretch and lengthening through the entire body. Roll over onto your bellies in your prone position. Bring your arms wide to the width of the mat. Bring your legs apart laterally and then come up into your swan. Draw the shoulder blades down. Let's get a nice release in our neck here. Inhale to nod, exhale, rotate the head to one side. And then looking down, come to the opposite side. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Come back to the center. Keeping that core engaged. You're going to come all the way down, reaching the feet away from the head. Inhale, retract the shoulder blades. Exhale, come up, lift that navel. And then for a little bit more of a variation here, if you have the strength, you're going to lift the legs as you rock, slow swan dive, rock forward. And then coming up, draw the shoulder blades down and lift. Keep the back of the legs engaged, the hamstrings, the glutes. Keep the core engaged as you're rocking here. 1 more. And then we're going to come down into the hover, keeping the legs lifted, but start to bring them together here. Come up into goalpost arms, Or if you have a little bit more stabilization and movement to work with in your shoulder area, you can come into the swimming position. If this is too difficult, too much on your shoulder girdle, you're going to come into that stabilized position. You can start fluttering the legs, or you could slow this down at home. Adding a little bit more without flutter, inhaling for 5, it's like the 100 with the breath. IVs is down, keep reaching to opposite sides of the room, really lengthening those muscles. Inhale and exhale for 5. Let's do 20 more. Inhale, you can speed this up. You get a little heat in the body. And exhale, inhale, and exhale. And we're gonna slow it down, and slowly come all the way down. Push back into shell, releasing the spine. And come into your cat stretch position. Tuck the toes under for a modified plank. Coming up with those knees. If you want a little bit more, you can come into your full plank here. And then from here, we're going to bring our knees down and tap, and lift, and tap. So it's that modified leg pull front prop. If you want to come into the full, you're going to bring one heel up towards the ceiling, hinge back in the space as you reach through that pointed foot, keeping the hips square to the mat. So make sure you're not tilting to one side. Getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg here, in that soleus area. We'll do 2 more sets. Feel the upper body working here too. Keep drawing that navel up and under. Eye gaze towards the mat. Last set here, keep breathing. And 1. We're gonna stay here. And through the knees. And from here, I want you to think about retracting the shoulder blades towards the spine. So draw the shoulder blades towards the spine, keep the neck long. Push the mat away, make space between the shoulder blades. There's that part of the push-up that sometimes we don't get to. Make sure your shoulders are staying down away from the ears. Working those postural muscles for 2. And 1. Release back into shell. And we're going to go ahead and come into our side bend. So I want you to come into a position that's comfortable for you. You can bring your legs out to the side, or you could come into this cross-legged position. And then opposite side with a toning ball if you want to, or a weight. We're going to come up and over and come into this nice side bend. Reach through the crown. Use the exhale, float this opposite arm up and get a nice side bend through the waist. Exhale, come up and over. Do that nice stretch through the side of the rib cage. And then we're going to go to the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, lengthen the spine up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, come up and over. Get a nice stretch here, keep the neck long, and then coming down. Nice and smooth. And reach, and come down. And then we're ready for our Pilates push-ups. So coming just to the back of the mat, tucking the toes under, bringing the pelvis up towards the ceiling, and keeping the core engaged, and slowly peeling the spine up that imaginary wall, 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale the arms over the head without lifting the rib cage. Exhale, imagine you have a pool of water in front of you, and you're going to dive into that pool, nice and controlled. Bending through the knees, coming into your plank. Remember, you're modifying if you're bringing the knees down directly under the hips, a little bit easier at an angle or in your plank. You can do this against the wall at home too. So when you're ready, we're going to come down for the count of 3, 2, 1. Use that exhale to push away. Inhale, and then exhale up. We'll do that again. Inhale, and exhale up. Let's do another set of 3, if that's okay for you today, okay? So listen to your body for 3, 2, 1, and push. Inhale, and exhale up. So inhale for 3, 2, 1. Coming up, can you do 1 more set of 3? If it's too much for you, bring your knees down for 3, 2, 1. Pushing up for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, use that exhale to push up. For 3, 2, 1. Coming up, hold. And start to walk your feet in. Coming into that downward dog position. Drawing that navel up. Dialing the shoulders open. Pushing through the heels, getting a nice stretch here. Nice work today. Start to bring your hands back towards the feet. That forward fold. Allow the body to move, upper body and the hips to move, releasing any tension that maybe occurred through the practice. Hopefully you release that. Come back to the center and slowly come up one vertebra at a time. Coming up into a standing position, we'll work on our balance here to end class. I'm just going to shift the camera so you can see me. So when you're ready, here we go. We're gonna bend through the knees here. And then coming into our releve. Reaching up towards the ceiling. You can't see my feet, but I'm pressing down on the balls of my feet. And then I'm lowering the heels down. I want you to think about here, imagine you're sitting in a chair, keeping the spine nice and long. Drawing the heels up. And then pushing down in the center of the ball of the foot. As you lift up, find your balance. Make sure you have a focal point. I wasn't watching there. Nice length here. And lowering the arms down. We'll do that again. Inhale to bend through the knees. Nice and strong here. Draw the shoulder blades down. Coming onto the balls of your feet. If that feels okay for you. Finding your balance. You can try lowering and lifting the heels here. Making sure you're not unstable though, and putting too much pressure on your ankles. So find your stability here. And now pressing on the balls of your feet, lengthening the spine here, arms come up towards the ceiling, and then lower down. So when you're ready, you're gonna inhale the arms up, and then use that exhale, open up through the sternum, through the collarbones, and start to bring your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. So we're gonna inhale, lengthen the arms here. Exhale, extend if that feels okay for your spine. Last one. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. And then bringing all that energy into your heart, into your body. And maybe sharing it with somebody who also needs it today. Maybe sharing it with the world. I wish you all well. I'll be here again on Friday at 5:30. I hope you can join me. Enjoy your day.